everybody. Hi. Thank you for your patience. What an episode, wasn't that? So, thank you. I had nothing to do with it, but I enjoyed watching it. I'm Debra Birnbaum. I'm the executive editor for TV for Variety, and I am more than thrilled to welcome you, the very rowdy cast of Scandal, as you may notice. So we have a lot of people, so I'm forgoing the clever spiel. I'm just going to bring them out. Let's start with George Newbern. Thank you, yes. Kate Burton. Joe Morton, Portia de Rossi, John Tenney, Paul Adelstein, Guillermo Diaz, Scott Foley, Kerry Washington, Tony Goldwyn, Bellamy Young, Jeff Kerry, and Darby Stanchfield. We found Olivia Pope. She's here. Thank you. All right. I guess my first question is, how the hell are we supposed to make it till January, people?
I don't know.
I know. I don't think we're going to make it. All right.
I don't know, alcohol, a lot of turkey.
Exactly. I think people, I was checking on Twitter before I came here tonight. I think people were more worried about the wine stain on the couch. Exactly. Any advice? A little down. I saw lots about Pellegrino.
Yeah.
Seltzer and salt.
Seltzer and salt's gonna come out. All right. So I know that. So I know I'm not going to get a lot of scoop out of you guys tonight, but that's not going to stop me from trying. But let's put it this way. I know the table reads are the first time that you guys see the scripts. Just how much screaming happens in those rooms?
A lot.
A lot. You have a microphone.
I'm pointing it to you.
You're allowed to use it. You can share.
Do you have a microphone?
I have a microphone, so I'll talk.
Yeah, you
Attaboy.
do you need a microphone?
But it's what everybody said a lot. Every episode, because we're like the audience. So Shonda constantly shocks and amazes us. So we scream a lot and hoot and holler and.
She doesn't like when we read the pages before we start the table read.
That's right.
Well, look. Last time I was looking at my script, which is Sika, who plays Kim, my ex-wife.
How good is
and
she?
Shonda spotted us, and she was like, "Close the script," and we were both like.
Except Josh Molina, who always reads the last page of every script. So we pulled a prank on him a couple years ago, where the last page said he got killed.
But he's such a jerk that he grabbed somebody else's script and checked Bellamy's last page and was like, "Oh, I'm good.
How much warning do you get? Does Shonda call you and let you know if something big is going to happen to your character?
Yeah, if Shonda calls you to her office to have a nice conversation, you're in trouble.
Well, the other thing that happened is, remember Tom Verica we were shooting a scene, and Tom pulled Kerry and I aside, and I thought, all right, this is it, I'm out. I'm on my way out. And he just warned us that what was coming up in the following episode was not going to be what it looked like. That's how we put it.
Yeah, I actually got a call from Tom Verica a couple of nights ago, and I was terrified. I thought, okay, what's happening? You just don't want that call. But it was fine. There was no point to that story. I'm trying to contribute.
Best moment of the night. Absolutely.
It just started.
Portia, how was it for you joining this cast? Was there a lot of hazing involved?
First of all, I am the biggest Scandal fan of all time. Ellen and I both were just absolutely riveted to the show, binge watched, I don't know, maybe 10 in a row. We came to the party late, but caught up really fast. And I'm such a huge fan that to be there, for me to be at a table read, I'm kind of gasping. I mean, this is my program, so these are my people. I love these people. It's my program. So yeah, our casting director, Linda, actually said that she likes to watch me as we do the table read because I am literally like, oh my God, like the entire time. So,
My favorite thing, though, was that Portia sat down at her first table read and didn't know who she was playing because they keep it all very close to the vest. And she was sort of looking around like, and Betsy, our Shonda's partner, mouthed to her,
Yeah.
so she knew which parts to read because she didn't know otherwise.
I knew all y'all and what you all called. So I figure, if there was a name I didn't recognize, I'd just start talking.
So how did you prepare? Or you just walked
Well, no,
in?
I mean, I knew what my character was. I just didn't know her name, which I should have asked, but I didn't.
Just enough to be on the show.
Yeah.
All right, I've got 2 words. Bitch baby.
How awesome was that?
Kerry, how did you prepare for that scene?
We had this really bad director that episode.
I don't know how you worked with him.
So we were on our own. No, we actually, so that scene was, we got it the day before, because we had just had the table read the day before, so we had one night to prepare that scene, and it was one of the first scenes of the episode that we shot, so it's one of the great things about how we work is you just have to throw yourself in very quickly, and we had a lot of fun, Jeff and I, because there's this line in there where I say to him, I'm going to say this to you as the Cyrus Bean I know would say it to you. And so I said, Jeff, so like, what if I just take that literally for a couple takes and try to like do Cyrus? And so that's what we did. And Tony just helped us make sense of it and put it in context. And it was also a little bit embarrassing because we were losing our voices a little bit. And I thought, oh my God, the three of us in this room were like these theater actors losing our voice from yelling at each other. But it's because, you don't have weeks to prepare and figure out how the muscle meets the emotion. And so it's a different beast. But it was really fun with lots of cough drops in between takes.
Well, you had a huge day of other extreme.
Oh yeah, because of
vocal-
that morning
you had
I
like
had done.
6 hard scenes or something that was
Whatever.
nuts. Yeah, well, yeah.
But
Yeah. I didn't realize till we watched Kerry the other day that, and I found myself tweeting, oh wow, the one other character in the life of Scandal Storyland said to Cyrus, show me who you are. And it was James who said, if you love me, tell me who you are. And it was kind of like, and Shonda, it's the only thing she's ever retweeted of mine in my life. I think it was, writer appreciation of, yes, Jeff, that was on purpose.
Oh, I tweeted, are we gladiators or are we bitch babies? She retweeted that.
So you
Well,
guys,
she retweeted this thing about how bitch baby is a term that the writers use in the writer's room to refer to somebody who's being, what did he say, like self-pitying? And so they're just such smart, wonderful, fun people, those people in our writer's room. And we get to, yes, exactly. And they're mean to each other, so we get to be. And we get to come to work and say the things that they write, and it's always extraordinary.
Tony, talk about directing. How much do you enjoy directing this, crazy group?
It's unlike anything I've ever done because it's.
That's not a compliment. If you listen carefully, that was not a
And that
compliment.
applies to every person sitting on this platform. No, it's a very, very unusual and privileged experience to be able to switch hats and work intimately with all these people that I work intimately with as an actor, and then to suddenly shift over and be able to direct them. Directing Scandal is very much, you're flying by the seat of your pants because we get the scripts at the last minute. So it's not, there's literally no time to prepare. And it's been that way this year a lot because just the scripts were late and everyone was under pressure. But the writing is so good, as Kerry just said, that in a funny way, you don't need a lot of preparation time. You have to trust your instincts, and it's so well written that as an actor, you kind of know what it needs to be, especially actors that are as good as these guys. And so as a director, there's tremendous comfort because, in every scene, but for example, in the scene you just brought up, Debra, you know, I've had the experience as a director many times where actors will come in a challenging scene and you really have to roll up your sleeves and you know, guide them or bring them to where you know it needs to be. And I've never had that experience with any actors here because they bring so much that you're just like, whew, you know, all I had to do is give maybe, well, try this or try that variety. So it was very easy but it's also really just fun. It's really, really fun and privileged.
There's a very cool craft thing, you guys, that happens. I mean, this is a simple example, but all of you as actors or directors, unless you do both, I'd imagine you're in, you know, our shoes of, that's mysterious, man. How do you switch gears? Tony and I will be doing a scene, and it can be heavy, and it's between Cyrus and Fitz, and he's directing that episode, and he completely present. We're doing the scene together. He might even have more of the heavy lifting, and in a very simple, beautiful way, he comes back at me with, okay, I know, wait, I got to shift, I got to put on my other hat and help if I can, if I'm noticing something. And it's usually along the lines of, Jeff, in this little passage right here, in this and this, I'm just not hearing you and understanding as well as I was here and here, you know? And you would never have known that the director wheels are going. And in a way, the actor wheels are the director wheels. You know, then, yeah.
It is a beautiful thing to watch.
I mean, that was a pretty intense Cyrus and Fitz scene, that episode as well.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, that was so good.
I think it's very interesting, though, Tony. The two episodes that you directed that I was involved with, in one of them you grabbed me by the collar and lift me up, and the other one you punched me in the face. So I just wondered if there was anything behind that.
A little bit of input with Sean.
And you directed both of those episodes. I just found it's just something to think about. I don't know. Throw that out there.
I think you knew what was coming. Speaking of that, I mean, that was another scene. You know, obviously we have to talk about the finale and the last scene in the episode, Mr. Vice President.
Yeah.
Well, what's going on there, Mr. Vice President?
You think I can walk through that door? I can't answer that question. But it will be revealed. It will all be revealed. The plot is thickening.
Can't wait to find out. Bellamy.
Yes,
Melly's been put through her paces this season.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's more fun, Smelly Melly or Smart Melly?
Melly is never not smart. She just may not smell so good, you know.
Melly's
but that's
never
just
not
true.
fun.
And Melly's never not fun. It was such a gift, you know. And our you know, we had the best boss in the world. Shonda Rhimes is incredible to work with and for and alongside. And I didn't. When she sent us when we saw the first episode, read the first episode, I didn't get it at all because it's a very different color of grief. You know, it's not it's stereotypical. I lost my son and I'm sad about it. And she was so helpful in finding that the tone, like really calibrating, and Lynn Paolo too, because it was important. The look of it was attributed so much to the tone and then the truth. And it wound up being so incredibly satisfying and so edifying to play, because my mom is here tonight. That's my mother. And
Mom.
right? Whatever.
Bravo,
Right on. But we have lost a lot of people in our life together, you know, and I have not always grieved appropriately, and it was amazing to be able to take part in sanctioning any flavor of grief, that how you walk through something is how you walk through something, and it may not go well for everyone, and it may backfire for you, but it's still your truth. And so all those colors in Melly were really, really, really fun. She smelled, she ate, she drank, she, you know, it was fried, but it was kind of
very
astonishing.
unpleasant to her husband.
Oh, pumpkin! But how is that different from Minnie Melly? But I've loved every second. I've loved every second.
I heard you say something really interesting on the podcast you do with Betsy Beers, that they have a relationship, they have a partnership, not a relationship, which I thought was a really interesting insight into their relationship, or
Well,
their marriage, I
Yeah,
guess.
well, there's also different kinds of love, and I think we function so, like our characters. Our characters function so well together in so many ways, but obviously he's found something much more profound with someone else, and another character.
How good that's doing me.
It's doing us all okay. But it's still, there are ways that they're an incredible team.
But she is on Team Olivia now, or
Or
wherever she may be.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also Bellamy and I have always been very clear that you don't have to be on either Team Melly or Team Olivia.
Right.
That you can very clearly be on both of their team. Both
Right.
of these women deserve to love and to be happy and all of that.
Amen. A to the men.
And as opposed to being on Team Fitz or Team Jake, at least before she disappeared, she was on, Olivia was on Team herself. She chose herself.
I was saying to the guys back there that I tweeted during that scene, I tweeted #TeamMe, and it was retweeted more than any other tweet I've ever tweeted.
Really?
It was,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
that people went mad for that idea, and I don't think it was about Olivia. I think it was about people owning the idea of Team Me, and I just love that because there's so much talk about which of these men, and to just go, yeah, what about you? What about you and all of that was really amazing to watch on the Twitter feed,
Talk about tweeting. How important has that been to the show?
It's why we're still on television.
It is. It's not a joke. I mean, it's like Twitter, social media allowed us to have a grassroots survival because our fans spread the word. I mean, there's so many people who will tell us they started watching the show because Oprah Winfrey started watching the show because on Thursday night, all anybody was talking about on Twitter was Scandal. And that resulted in a special by Oprah about Scandal. And that results in more eyes and more eyes and more eyes and more eyes. And it was like that. It was like, this was the little show that could. Our first season had 6 episodes. That was what the network said, let's try it out. 6 episodes plus the pilot. And if we didn't have people show up and spread the word and be passionate about what we were doing, that's all we would have had.
And it's such a joy. I mean, the way we feel at the table read is the way we get to watch everybody else feel on Thursday night. It's such an incredible. It feels like theater again. You really see how things are landing with people. But we have to take a moment because it was this smart lady's idea. So all thanks to our beautiful Kerry Washington, who was way ahead of the curve and figured that out, could see what was coming, and got Shonda to ask us all to do it.
Yeah,
She didn't want to be all bossy
Kerry
pants.
totally Olivia Poped us on
Yeah.
this one. Because she didn't come to us herself. She went to Shonda and said, I think it'd be better if it came from you as opposed to me because I'm number 1 on the call sheet. And Shonda was like, yeah, good idea. Okay, I'll tell them, people, you need to tweet. So we all thought it came from Shonda, but it really came from Kerry. And it's brilliant. It was like the best idea. And most of us weren't on Twitter, and we hated it, and we were scared, and
I
we
was on
signed
a
up.
rotary phone.
But it's amazing who tweets Scandal now, you guys. Last week, Rihanna was doing a tour of the White House, and she Instagrammed and tweeted all these things about Olivia Pope and Associates, and she was at the press secretary booth. #Hey Abby! It's amazing.
I think what's so interesting is that in this age of DVRing and binge watching, you've made it into appointment television on Thursday nights.
It's fun.
That's another thing that's
we love
all
it.
due to Twitter.
Yeah.
Because people want that immediate experience. And aside from the fact that there's so many spoilers in a show like Scandal, but I think there's that event created, this communal event of the social media experience, and that's kept appointment viewing alive at a time when it's generally not how I watch television.
Absolutely. So there's been so many amazing scenes and amazing lines. So I'd like to start with Guillermo, going down the line. What's been your favorite scene to film so far this season? Wow. Either for you or for someone else.
Oh, I think my favorite scene this season is Scott and Olivia dancing. I was like blown away. I just feel like they just like let go in a way that we haven't seen before, and Scott and Kerry dancing, and oh man, it was just so good, so good. Yeah.
Hard to beat that music. Scott?
What? What
was your favorite scene so far this season?
Not the dancing one.
I think the rest of us enjoyed it.
Is that a fair answer? Can we move on?
No. Not moving on.
You know, the what?
Bahamas.
The Bahamas was nice. My favorite scene was actually from this last episode, and it was the Fitz Cyrus one, where the Accept My Resignation one. I just loved it, and there was something so heartbreaking in it. You could see the friendship that these men had developed that isn't necessarily always on screen, and it was. I just loved it. I've seen it 3 times now, and it's just amazing.
It was great.
Yeah.
Carrie?
The dancing scene. No. I just said it because he told me not to. I think it's really, I'm going to say it because she's not here. It's not really a scene, but so far this season, one of my favorite things has been watching the transformation that Quinn has had.
Amazing.
Because, Katie Lowe's started this entire series. Like, her character introduced my character by her relationship to my character and how in awe she was of everything we all stood for, and that she has become this completely bitter, jaded, hilarious, sexy killer is so fantastic. And so I've really just enjoyed her lines and her journey, her transformation.
Tony?
It's a hard one to pick. There's some really amazing ones. The other person that applies to for me, and I think maybe my favorite scene was the one with Darby and Kerry behind the desk when Darby. I thought Darby,
that was great.
Your transformation this season and what you've gotten to do has been so incredible, and your work in that, and yours too, Kerry, was unbelievable and funny but heartbreaking, and wow, that blew my mind. Yeah.
Tony took mine.
He always does that.
I think my second, which was Kerry and Joe.
That was my second too.
You guys must be married.
You meant your co-first.
Yeah. Exactly. It's a tie. It's a super tie. Kerry and Joe from this last scene. And she pulled the trigger, and then he had to deal with that, and then the like how you can't erase the good memories. Try as you might. That scene floored me. Beautiful, so gutting, and obviously like something you can't unknow. Like, you can't come back from that scene. You can only go forward, and I don't know what's going to happen. I know a little bit, but it's horrible. Can't ring on the bell. But it was definitive, really. But you crouched behind that desk. Oh. With the vomit? Oh, my God.
Lots of vomit.
I'm gonna wait because I've got 3 in my brain, and if they don't get mentioned, I'm gonna mention them. You go ahead.
I'm not going to forget. I'm coming back to you.
It doesn't have to be this season.
No, okay. You can pick
Okay,
whatever you want.
Yeah, there's a scene that Jeff Perry did with Dan Bukatinsky. Oh, it was last season where you guys were naked, completely naked, and arguing. There was this trust issue, so you had to get naked to make sure you weren't wearing wires. Mm-hmm. And that was just a phenomenal scene. And Dan, I think he won an Emmy for that. Mm-hmm. But you guys, you're all of your scenes, but just that scene was so raw and vulnerable and complicated and fantastic. I loved it.
Last season, I got to do a scene with Kate Burton where she's losing her mind, and she says,
Which one? She said.
Crispy Piggy.
Crispy Piggy.
And my character comes in towards the end of that, and then says, "Good luck," and leaves. And I kept missing my cue because I was literally peeking through the door because I just wanted to watch it, and I just was so taken by her willingness to go there every single time. That was my favorite thing to actually watch. And then my other would be the songs in the Kill Life Key. That just killed me. It just absolutely killed me. Father and daughters.
Fathers and daughters. Oh my
and guns.
Fathers, daughters, guns.
Yeah, the fathers. I was going to say that the fathers and daughters scenes. Just that scene was just absolutely incredible. I mean, outside of course Scott's dancing. That's got to be up there. But you know, in addition to that father-daughter, that scene with Candy Alexander when Kerry loses is so genuine, her heart breaks as she starts to sob, and your mom looks at you and goes, "Cry me a river." So whatever. Yeah. And you have to go from that place to just, oh my God, that was an extraordinary moment. It's really hard, man. There's so many amazing moments when you lost your child.
I love how ghetto Candy Alexander plays the mom, right? Because I feel like deep inside we all want Olivia Pope's mom to be like Diane Carroll. Like we want her to be this elegant, and Candy's like, but it's so good. I love it. Yeah, you need to move on, boo. Look at here, look around, boo. I was like, she just called Olivia Pope boo. What? Oh my God.
I want to know how Olivia Pope came from these two parents. And it's not in therapy.
It's amazing. It's really not fair. You can't pick a moment. I loved your relationship with Dan Bukatinsky so much. There's so many amazing scenes. And I actually remember a scene between you and Fitz. I don't even know which season it was in, but I remember hearing out of the words out of the President of the United States' mouth saying, "Go home to your husband." And I gotta say, like, I just was like, I never ever thought I would hear that. So this is not, but that's something that will stay with me forever, because I thought, God, what is this Shonda Rhimes doing to people? They don't even know what they're hearing and what they're ingesting, And anyway, that was just a pivotal moment for me personally. And then there's other great acting, whatever.
Whatever.
I think Brian Lesher's moment with you, the Helen of Troy scene, I just thought was just beautiful, just gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh my God, I so agree. And Darby behind the desk, you guys, that was fantastic. Also, as I told Paul before this, when Paul, what was the line you had where you offered to touch her boob? Yeah. I really enjoyed that. Because one thing you need to know about Mr. Paul Adelstein is that working with him is a hysterical experience. And last year we had a lot of work together. And generally we will do scenes, and then after a little while he just does it as if Woody Allen would do it. So you're like, okay, why not? But I will tell you that one of my favorite episodes of all time, and it's an episode I was not in, was in the second season, and it was called 752. And this guy gave a performance. I cannot even, tears in my eyes. We were all clutching each other. And, it was brilliant. It was where you find out, where Huck is from, why he is the way he is. I'll never forget it.
That was good.
Sorry. I don't know what I can say at this point. You've said on the you did the whole piggy pig thing that broke me down, and Joe's guttural response with the click, and your response on the other end. And I'm just going to list another one. When Dan dies, you break down in the office. The next episode. This whole show, I don't remember anything but the moments that are behavioral and hit me in the gut, and there's so many. And it's like when you watch a movie, you don't remember the plot, you remember how it made you feel. And there's so many moments in this show that just blow me away. I don't know how they get away with it. How do they get away with this as the writers and the actors? It's amazing. I'm just so blown away by the tone that we're able to somehow pull off. It freaks me out.
I'll add one. I'm biased, and I
you.
love Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, but I'm biased, and our Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Katie Lowe's and George Newbern, they're better. They're my favorite. And this last episode of the Granny Friend,
That was beautiful.
the last episode of this gear
trending.
this
Granny Friend
gear
was trending,
switch
apparently. Yeah.
into talking about Granny Friend, and
Well, Endless Love
it
played.
was this it was a gorgeous tone. It was beautifully played.
Scored by Endless Love.
Yeah.
Well, I think that leads into my next question. Given that you're doing all these intense scenes, how do you break the tension on set?
Can't you tell?
Yeah, exactly. I guess that answers it. And given, this incredible dialogue, how do you prepare for your scenes? How do you get into your characters?
That's exactly what Jeff does at work.
Profanity at it.
Oh yeah. But he curses a lot.
I'm pissed at anyone with a good memory. I want a computer chip in my brain.
I mean, the words are so precise.
It's weird.
not-
I got to say, it's a very bizarre experience because Shonda writes very theatrical dialogue and it's very chunky. I mean, as you know, there's long passages and often we will get them, the night before, and you think I'm not going to be able to do this, and somehow the writing is so good that it somehow sticks enough that in multiple takes you can get it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then on top
But
of
also,
that,
you kind of know how it's supposed to go, with a little help from your friends and neighbors. You would think I would need weeks to work on this to prepare, and it's just so well written that it just, I don't know. I often go, we're going to just fuck this up. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. And then it somehow comes to life. It's really
and
amazing.
it's the pace too. I mean,
Right. We got to talk fast.
wow, we've got to talk fast. And my first scene was with Cyrus, and we did mic coverage a couple of times and thought it was okay. And then Tom Verica was directing, and he goes, "Okay, folks, let's get it up on 2 wheels." I was like, "What does that mean?" And then he's like what you did, but double the pace. And then I found out this thing called scandal pace, which is, oh my God, talk as fast as humanly possible, but you still have to connect emotionally with everything that you're saying and do it with the same intensity and breathing. Sometimes it's hard to actually naturally. No, it really is to. It is like music. It's kind of, you have to.
Mark your breath.
Yeah, you have to figure it out fast, really fast.
But it saves it because then you get it up to that pace and you're like, oh, there's the scene. Like that's what it is. That's the truth of it. You were resisting, like, no, I need to take a pause here. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't.
This is only one aspect of it, but a real life chief of staff was asked, "What's the pace? What's the pace of the West Wing? What is a day? What's the tempo?" And he paused and said, "You ever try to drink out of a fire hose?" And I thought, oh my God, what a beautiful image. And it's one it's an aspect of why Shonda, within an episode or so, sat with us and said, "You guys, I could try to invent actor-friendly reasons as to why this is so, but I just have to tell you, if it's not really fast, I hate it. It's horrible. It's horrible."
She said politics is more interesting if spoken very, very fast.
It's just hard to watch other shows when you just see you guys churn through so much plot in any given episode. It's just, compared to any other show on television, it's just sort of nuts.
It blows us away every week.
I know, still. I was watching this last one. I said, that's 2 episodes worth of events.
And we cut out usually a whole episode's worth of material that we've shot from every episode, which then is repurposed somehow.
We actually had.
Oh, am I not allowed to say that?
we
There's an
actually
ejector
had
seat.
we had an episode that was so full that we split it. The writers went back and decided to split it into 2 episodes, and then it was still so full, both episodes.
And we only had to film like another maybe 18 minutes.
Yeah, because we have so much to be. There's so much that winds up on the editing room floor for every episode. Yeah.
We'd happily watch the editing room cuts. We're good with that. What have you learned while making the show? That again.
That's a great
That is a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Nobody's asked that before.
For me, I've learned to trust my instincts because of the pace that we work and the reality that when you show up to work opposite any one of these actors, you better fucking bring it because they're going to bring it. So you just have to go. You can't, indulge yourself. You can't worry too much about it. You just have to work your butt off and be as prepared as you can be and then go hard because then it works.
But I think you also learn how a company of actors really work together. I mean, when you join this company, when I joined this company, it really was, first of all, it's very welcoming to begin with. It's a very easy company to become part of. And then there is a real support system. I think on 752, they got those words that day. And they had to not only did Guillermo have to learn all of what he had to learn, but all of the actors came in and to do all those monologues. They learned them that day, and the support that was given each one of them to each other was just amazing. And it really does feel like being in a repertory company.
Kerry was there, and she wasn't shooting that day, and she was there behind, like where the monitors are, behind, where the director sits, and coming into the scene and saying, "You guys were awesome," and giving us support. And she wasn't even shooting that day when we were doing all those monologues. So that's what she is.
That's what she is.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I heard there was a taco truck that day. Yeah. I think this thing about you, for me, I've learned to really lean into other actors because we really are in the trenches together, and I can think of a moment. I mean, so many moments are coming to my mind right now of moments where actors on the stage have just saved my ass because I was thinking, God, what is going on here? And we just unfold it together and not just lean into it logically and kind of dramaturgically to figure out what's happening, what's going on, but also really lean into each other emotionally because the stakes that the writers write, the stakes of our show are so high. And so in order for it to feel real, you have to be willing to go to such a vulnerable place so often. And to do that, it's very helpful to be part of a family like this, where you can look at the actor across from you and say, I'm really scared, or I'm really confused, or I really don't know what this moment means, or I love you a lot and I'm scared to say these things, or, there's like, I think about scenes, for some reason I'm thinking a lot about scenes with Darby, like she and I, the friendship that Abby and Olivia have is so extraordinary, and we have had to just go to such vulnerable places in our relationship with each other to get there, and it's just, but you have those experiences constantly, with both these guys, with Joe, with Bellamy, you really lean into each other as artists, and so it's a very, very safe working environment that we can do that kind of work with each other.
How much rehearsal time do you guys get? Do you get enough time to kind of look at those? I know those looks that I just got.
And it depends on the director.
Typically, we say the words of the scene, and then maybe we go over it once with, opening the doors and deciding where we're going to sit or stand, our instincts. Some directors, you'll do that a few times if you're really trying to work it out. And then you invite the crew in and you tape it and you film it. And the rehearsing, I find, happens while we're shooting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're working out the pace of it and finessing it while we're shooting it. So it's like we're roughing it out for the rehearsal, but really there's no rehearsal.
And the hair and makeup trailer. We get, this is a good group that everybody's like theater background, everybody cares a lot, and everybody wants to run lines or talk through something or figure out the scene while they're putting on your wig or they're like finishing your face. A lot goes down in hair and makeup.
A lot goes down.
Yeah. Hair and makeup is kind of like, the kitchen.
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
First thing you come in the morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized I hadn't asked any of the questions from the audience, so pick them out of my pocket. Sorry, everybody. Ashley wants to know from the whole cast, other than Tony.
Where's Ashley?
Ashley? Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
No pressure.
No pressure.
What do you want to know?
Let's hear the question.
What qualities do you like in a director, Tony Goldwyn? Can you? Just kidding. She didn't specifically say Tony Goldwyn. Can you talk about any experience you've had with a particularly great director, Tony Goldwyn? Just kidding.
That's a good question.
Good question. Good question. Good job, Ashley.
Answer about the director, Tony Goldwyn.
She did not specifically say Tony Goldwyn. I just keep saying that. The question was literally, what qualities do you like in a director? Can you talk about any experiences you've had with a particularly great director? Which may or may not be Tony Goldwyn. Sorry.
This question is not for me.
No, it's not for you. It's just talking about working with a good director. For anybody in the cast who wants to answer it.
I mean, I think all of the directors that we have are good directors, and I think they all approach it slightly differently. But again, to use this kind of theatrical repertory company kind of idea, everyone is there to support the script. All of these actors and all of the directors that show up are all prepared. Nobody walks on the set unless they just got those words that day or that moment, whatever. But everybody walks on the stage absolutely prepared. And that just helps, so that the fact that there's no real rehearsal, the fact that we have to sort of learn it as it feels like you're learning it on the fly, but that's not really true either. People actually come with a set of perspectives, a set of ideas of what they want to do, how they want to approach it, and those things may be changed along the way, but everybody's working to make the moment better. So all the directors, as far as I've experienced, have been wonderful.
I'd like to answer that. Wasn't that? Sorry.
No, I'm
not
sorry.
about
You can.
myself.
You're allowed to answer.
I actually, Joe's right. They're all really terrific. But for me personally, as an actor, what I most value in a director, oftentimes, particularly in television, and even with a show of the level of Scandal, because you have to work at such a pace and get so much work done in a day, there are directors that tend to focus more on getting the shots and moving as quickly as possible, and there's a sense of, sometimes I feel as an actor that I have to insist and go, no, it's not right yet. We have to get this right. So, I'm glad you're happy, but we need to, it's not right. And there's a sense of, I sometimes feel anxiety there, like I'm not quite safe. And oftentimes, I know as a director, and I know when I work with some of my favorite directors, there's always time to get it right. Always time to get it. There's certain things which you can do in one take because it's great, so let's move on. And other times, you need to really dig in and make sure something's as good as it can be. And that is the special director in television to me, that does that. And we have several of them on Scandal. And then we have some who are really good, and their episodes are great, but they don't have that quality for me. That to me is the real difference of a great television director.
That's really great you said that, Tony, because I had that experience with Tom Verica, that because I knew how pressured he was and he had a huge day and he had to move it and he had to go, and I understood all of that. But he protected me as an actor from all those concerns he had. So I never, I was aware of it because I just was aware of that, but he protected me completely from that burden that he held. He carried that weight for me so that I could feel like I had all the time in the world. And that's, you're bang on with that. That's a great director.
I have a problem with one director who shall remain absolutely nameless. None of us absolutely nameless. Out of 40 or so directors. But really, the only problem I ever have is when you get about in the kind of crucible of when any particular scene needs to be shot. You literally get about 2 to 5 minutes of what you'd call absolute actor instinct exploration, and that gets trounced on once in a rare while, and I just think that's a horrible shame, and that drives me nuts. But that's the closest thing to an example of anything that isn't gorgeous, Yeah,
that drives me crazy too, because the crew gets their time, right? Lighting gets their time. Everybody gets the time that it takes to make it right. And then the actors, it's just like, get it done. Just get in there and get out. Like, get it clean and get out. Sometimes, not on this show. I'm just saying that is the beauty of a great director, that they do shelter you from the burden of, let's keep it going, and allow you the freedom to explore your character and to actually work a scene and to discover things within a scene. I felt that last night actually with you. I thought Debbie Allen was like right with us. She's amazing. Yeah. And it was a difficult.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She finished take. She's like, hello?
When she's really happy with the take. Hello?
Because the hello means, does anybody have any objections? Because otherwise we're going to move on.
Which is also really nice from a director.
Tom
Hello?
snaps if he likes it. I can't snap, but Tom Verica, if he likes to take you here. Yeah, everybody will tell.
Love it. All right, the next question is from Sahar.
You look lovely.
Do you have any special rituals that you do to prepare you before you go to set?
I put on a wig. And hose. I swear, it's like here's something here, and something here, and I'm nail ready.
Yeah, the clothes are important for me.
Yeah.
The clothes are really important.
She's got her suit of armor, doesn't she?
Yeah, it just and the shoes. Like a lot of us girls rehearse in the shoes because if you're not able to stand like these women, it's hard to know what choices you would make as them. So that's a big one is the shoes.
How did you come up with Olivia's strut? The shoes?
I can't say.
Deb with a good question.
Now I'm really curious. Anyone else have any other rituals that they can talk about?
Tony and Kerry love making fun of mine. When, if there's something difficult, emotional, and not to make fun of a real disorder, but I have kind of a Tourette's routine of, kind of growling and swearing.
Yes.
So we'll be in the Oval Office, right? And the cameras are all rolling. They're like, ready, set. And Jeff's supposed to make an entrance, and the door's not opening, and you hear, ah! Fuck! 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 And then the door opens, and Cyrus walks in.
I don't know how to follow that.
That was good.
Okay, Natalie. Natalie? Where are you? Okay. Well, I'm going to ask.
Natalie's
actors.
Exactly. What was your first big opportunity as an actor, and how did you keep yourself motivated before you got your big break?
Oh, wow. Great.
Wow, that is a good problem.
Yeah.
That was a good one, right?
Good job.
I'll answer that.
Thank you.
Okay. We all have had really individual journeys to our work. Mostly, the whole adage, which I always say to young actors, and I talk to a lot of young actors, is when somebody comes up to you like an agent or a manager and says, there is a plan. There is no plan. There is no plan. And honestly, you just literally have to just keep, heading into the storm day to day, keep auditioning, keep showing up. I've known a lot of these actors. Tony Goldwyn and I have known each other since we were 21 and 20 years old. Many years ago. When we were both kids in school. And, you just have to keep going. And the truth of it is, I had a lot of theatrical experiences, a lot of Broadway with friends in this room. And, but here I was one day auditioning for a show called Surgeons. And I had been told I was 46 years old. And I'd been told, it's to play the mom with early onset Alzheimer's. And I thought, oh my God, it's over. And who knew that I did the pilot thinking I will never see these people again. They called me up and said it's been picked up for 13 and they've changed the name to Grey's Anatomy. And you know what? That's the thing though. It's as simple as a little audition that you kind of went in for, and I met this beautiful woman and I thought, who's she? Her name is Shonda Rhimes. And look what happens. And it's been, it's been 11 years. And that was my, and that's the thing, a little audition that you think, I'll go in for that, and it can change your life. So there you go.
Yeah, the only thing I'd love to add to that is my son is also an actor, and I brought him out to LA to sort of do some introductions, and the one question that he got that he hadn't really spent a lot of time thinking about as an actor is, what do you want as an actor? What do you want?
Ooh, that's good.
And I think maybe for all of us, it's something we've gone through and sort of figured out for ourselves. But when you're a young actor, it's where you need to start. Just to say, I want to be an actor, that's fine. Okay, what kind of actor do you want to be? What does that mean to you? What do you want? So I think that's what leads you to the audition, that leads you to the moment that leads you to something bigger than you thought it was. Because you had some path in mind. It may change, it may modify itself, it may vary, all these things may happen, but you have some idea of where it is you think you're headed.
I'm going to add to that, too, because I'm one of those actors who really, I get emotional. Talking about it, I had to scrap and scrap and scrap for years in LA, and I got my first break from a casting director workshop. What you pay to a casting director. I did like 300 in 1 year. No, I'm sorry, 200. That's a little much. I did 200 of them in 1 year, and this is after having gone to graduate school for theater at the American Conservatory, and coming to LA and not being able to really get these substantial roles, and I would get a little co-star here, a couple lines here, a couple lines there, and I just kept plugging away. And then, so a couple of things happened. I lied and said I could ride bareback on a horse when I couldn't to get a recurring role on NCIS, and I learned within 2 weeks I had to ice my crotch because it was unbelievable how much I had to spend on a horse. So I lied. I went to casting director workshops.
I'm icing mine right now.
I got cast
Quote of the night.
on Jericho, which was the show on CBS for like 14 episodes. But I went in as like a small one scene in the pilot, and it was from meeting someone at a casting director workshops. And so like all of it, you guys, like just plug away, go to your classes, go to your auditions, keep showing up. Find a mentor that's like more experienced than you and have coffee with them and ask them questions. Just everything you can think of. Just do one thing a day for your career. But just keep showing up.
Can I add one thing to what was said? The thing that Joe and what Kate said sounds like they're different. Like Joe said, know what you want. And Kate said, there can be no plan. Those things are not mutually exclusive. Yes. It's like, know what you want, but you don't know if that audition's going to get you to that point or not, and you don't know what a thing is. You just don't get to know it. But the only thing you get to know is, am I acting or am I not acting? And you got to act as much as you possibly can and hope that that thing is going to keep getting you towards the thing you want to get to.
And
You just got to keep going.
I'll add to that. Everybody you meet remembers you. You make an impression. So every time you go in the room, go in with your whole heart and your vulnerability and your art, and I just keep it showed that. It's an aggregate because I asked his sweet wife is Linda Lowy, who casts everything for Shonda and is a genius.
Genius.
I was like, this job is the biggest thing I've certainly ever done, and I love every second of it. And I had 3 lines in the pilot, and one of them was live, and literally got cast the day before. I mean, nothing, right? And Shonda at the table read for when we started the second episode was like, you're going to be here 3 episodes. I'm going to do a presidential divorce. And I was like, no. But it's nice, and they have written for me. And when we were at Shonda's house watching the last episode, it was like Christmas time, and we were watching the 7th episode of the first season. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Linda, oh my God, I don't know how you ever could imagine to trust me with what you have, like, where you have landed me this year. I'm so grateful. And she was like, every time you came in the room, you got the part, we just couldn't give it to you. Like, this is not a like, hey, I'm great story. This is like, this is that the people remember story. So every time you go in the room, it matters, and you're changing your life because you're showing up for yourself, and it will pay off. I know it seems like playing the lottery, but it's not. It's real and quantifiable, and you can rely on it.
The only other thing I wanted to add, and this is something I learned when I started directing, because I auditioned so many actors all the time, and I always found auditioning so torturous as an actor, and I felt so out of control, and you know, especially when I was very young, I'd go in and do what I thought was, I either would do what I thought was a great audition and be certain I should get the part. Like, how could I not have gotten that part? And it really, I got my heart broken so many times. And then I'd go in and often go through that experience where, for some inexplicable reason, you humiliate yourself and go, but I knew what I was doing, and I went in and I just was terrible. And it's over. And what I learned as a director is there's so many great actors, and there's only one actor for a part. And I've had so many people come in, and it's related to what Belle just said, and do such amazing work. And I go, who is that actor? We're not going to cast them. They're not right for this. They're not who I see, but I want to remind me who that actor is, because that actor really interests me a lot. That was great work. And I'll often tell the actor in the room, so that they know. But I don't say you didn't get the part. But you're very wonderful. No, leave them with hope so I break their heart later. No, I'm just saying that here's the point, is that I learned that you have no control. This is, again, it's tying what what Paul was saying, and Joe, you have no control over anything other than your own process. That literally is the only thing you can control. And it's very much the same when you're working as an actor, when you're being paid for it. We get up every day and try to do our best work in front of the camera and try and do something that's authentic and for real, if possible. And then we have to let it go, because it goes in the hands of other people, and we don't know what they're going to use or what's going to end up in the performance. But particularly when you're in the stage of auditioning, you have no control. So then you just keep working at your process. And hopefully, what I would say the only objective is to just try and have your process curve be doing this throughout your entire lifetime. And if it's on an upward trajectory, because, that feeling of it being like this, which is the life of an actor, we all have the blessings of being part of a hit television series. That's going to be over. You know what I mean? That's going to end. It is a moment that we're very incredibly fortunate we were talking about this yesterday. We're very fortunate and are very grateful to be in this moment with Scandal. It's a very rare opportunity today. But, in a minute it's going to be over, and we're going to be looking for a job in some fashion, and we're all, so I know that is whether you're 22 just getting started, or whether you're 40 and in an upswing or a downswing, or 60 and going, I used to work. No, like what? I'm almost there, brother. Anyway, you get my point.
I guess we're not going to all add to this, I don't think, but I just wanted to add that to me, what I think one of the things I just started learning was to think of my relationship with acting as a real relationship, because that's when you hear that story, I sort of think, I am in relationship with the actor in me, and I have to nurture that relationship. I have to communicate with that. I have to love that part of me and take care of it and help it grow, like any other relationship that's important to me. When the world is against that actor in me, I have to keep it safe. When people are blowing smoke up its butt, I have to tell it it's safe. When I get the part, when I don't get the part, the thing that has to be strong is my relationship with me as an actor. And that means stay learning, stay studying, stay working with coaches, stay honest, stay communicative, keep growing, like any other important relationship. So, because I think that's in some ways what Tony meant by your process, because that's what you can control. I can control my relationship with my craft I can't control anything else. I can't control ratings. I can't control edits. I can't control difficult directors. I can't control anything else. But my relationship with my, cannot control critics. Can't read them, that's why. But I can control that. I can take care of the little actor in me.
Well said.
Well, I did my best to control this panel. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic night. Thanks to all of you for coming.